record to the cloud instead of my personal computer. So there you go. Recording started.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Margaret Farmer, and I am a co-chair of the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association. Tyler?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tyler Lane. I'm the vice chair, other co-chair of the Neighborhood Association, and I handle a lot of the P&Z stuff. And then Aubrey.
Hi everyone, I'm Aubrey Hartnett. I am vice chair of the JPNA. And I
Excellent.
will stay off camera and mute for most of this, but I will be present, I promise.
We'd like to thank everybody for being here. Just to repeat very quickly, the announcement we made before the recording started that this meeting is being recorded. Although the recording is hosted on YouTube, it is only posted on our website, www.jeffreyspoint.org, where we encourage everyone to view it. And I will tell you that I do know that it is both watched, and I do know that our local EC Times Free Press takes a look at it there as well. But because this meeting is recorded, you are not required to have your camera on to participate. You are not required to have your name displayed. You can change that. And you are not required to have your voice be recorded either. You can submit questions through the chat and comments through the chat as well. We do encourage people to submit questions while people are presenting so that when they're done, there are questions waiting for them. But we will always pause for a few seconds at the end of a presentation to make sure that people have the opportunity to interact with our presenters. A couple of quick announcements this evening. First of all, the JPNA would like to thank everyone who supported our holiday potluck that we had in December at the Jeffreys Point Yacht Club. We'd like to thank the Yacht Club for letting us host it there at their location. And we'd like to thank everyone who came and supported the event. We had almost a dozen people attend who had never been to any kind of Jeffreys Point event or meeting before. So it was an opportunity for neighbors to meet people, for people to make potential friends. I've heard from some people that they've already started gathering with others, and we're really thrilled about it. So thank you to everyone. There will be other future opportunities to get together with people. I do know that we definitely have our potluck in July coming. But for a few minutes at the end of this meeting, we're going to ask people to give us some feedback and ideas about what you would like to see coming up this year as the JPNA engages in a little bit of planning. And if getting together with the neighbors is something you like, we encourage you to provide that feedback. Also, the JPNA would like to thank everyone who supported our Samuel Adams School fundraiser. We successfully raised almost $800 to support their literacy efforts. We're going to purchase books. The funding is going to be used by the school to purchase books and other supplies to encourage kids to read and get them excited about reading. So thank you to everyone who participated. We consider it very successful, and the school is very thrilled. Also, this evening, we'd like to remind people that our A7 is hosting and running a free hockey ice program for kids run by the East Boston Police at the Prazo Hockey Rink up in Orient Heights. The program is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We encourage you to contact Officer Marino for more information, and this is a free program for families and kids. FYI, it has come to our attention that an informal group of residents has gathered to try and restart the East Boston Parade that would be occurring in October. If you're interested in getting involved, please contact Joe Ruggiero at the Ruggiero Funeral Home for more information, as he seems to be heading up that group. They are looking for both volunteers to help organize and fundraising opportunities and sponsorships. So if you know of anything, please be in connection with them. There will be a JPNA Planning and Zoning Subcommittee this month. It is occurring on next week on Wednesday, January 21st. It will be at 7 p.m. on Zoom. The development location is 5-7, 5-7, not 57, 5-7 Murray Court. Please check our website, www.jeffreyspoint.org, for the full agenda and for any additional information, including the few days beforehand, we will post the presentation, and then how to log in on Wednesday, again, January 21st for 5-7 Murray Court. A quick reminder that if you believe that you see any activity that is related to ICE, please consider calling the LUCE hotline, that is LUCE hotline, to verify your sighting and to not spread unnecessary fear or rumors. The phone number to contact the LUCE hotline is 617-370-5023. Again, that is 617-370-5023. Yep, thank you, Aubrey put it in the chat. We appreciate that very much. I do want to let people know we are going to start out with the police as we do normally this evening. And I did want to let people know we did hear from several residents who asked if the police were going to address the meeting that occurred last month in December, ironically the same night as our holiday gathering. But several people contacted us and asked if the police were going to address that meeting and things that occurred there. And we did ask them to be prepared to discuss that tonight. So I just want to let people know that that is coming. But I see that I see Sergeant Santolo is here. He seems to be moving. Yes, I see Sergeant Santolo here. And fortunately, we've added enough people. I can't tell if Officer Alvarez is here with us this evening. But I do see that Officer Curtis Mosley has also turned on his camera. So I will turn it on to turn it over to you to present. And thank you very much for being here. One or both of you can turn on, can go off
Hi,
mute.
Margaret. Sergeant Santolo here. I'm sorry. I'm driving from the Orient Heights meeting that we had at 6:30. So I apologize. I can't be on cam. So I just want to piggyback on that. Gary Marino, Officer Marino's ice skating. We're in the works, hopefully with some luck, using the ice at the tall ship for a learn to skate program for anybody of all ages. And I will send you the flyer or email once we button that up. It'll be fun to get out there and skate outside by the tall ship. But I'll let Curtis do the update. And also, I just want to know Captain Bickerton is on tonight. So we can get to him after the presentation. Unless, Captain, you want to go now?
No, you can go ahead. I'm having some technical difficulties with this phone right now, but go for it and let's see if this gets any better.
Thank you, sir. All right, Kurt.
So
You're on. Yeah, there you go.
okay, Officer Mosley. Okay, thank you.
I was like the captain. I was having some technical difficulties myself. I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I don't have much, but I will go through what I do have. Let me see. We have on Friday, January 2nd, there was an officer responded to a radio call for a threat at 14 Maverick Square. Spoke with the individual at 14 Maverick Square. He stated had a verbal confrontation and within this individual, and this after that, there was the T police was also there, and the MBTA police officer actually removed this person, the individual, from the premises. On Sunday, January 4th, 2026, we had a 2-man unit that responded to 99 Sumner Street, and this was in regards to okay, I'm familiar with this one. So there was a group of individuals that went into the tea shop, Tea by the Sea shop, and they were they set a small fire on the bushes. Their behavior was just atrocious, I should say, because I am a little aware of this. Said that the kids had returned and began waving, claimed they didn't do anything. So they had left, and they come back after the owner had contacted the police. So that's still under investigation because we're still trying to identify these individuals. So we can let them know that that place is off limits and that them going into that establishment is a definite no-no. On Thursday, January 8th, 2026, we had our clerk there at the front desk. She took a report from a concerned citizen that this happened on Lamson Street. So she stated that she heard a noise on the Ring camera, and upon opening, she noticed a man attempted to open the front door of their house, of the victim's house. The victim stated the suspect was walking down the street by all of the houses. The suspect tried to get into the victim's house, but left after failing to gain access. It's funny that report came up because we were at the other meeting we were at, and one of the concerns was there was an individual that walked inside somebody's yard. And the party that was reporting that to myself and Sergeant Santolo asked what it was that they were to do. And you ever find yourself in that position, whether it's your house or your neighbor's house, and you don't know the individual, never seen the individual, and the individual seems to be acting suspiciously, please contact the police and let us come. And then if we can, you give like Sergeant Santolo said, to this individual, you give a good description. For the most part, if we could just stop this individual and ascertain their information, then at least we'd know who they were and why they were around there. And the last thing I had was the January 9th. I don't know if you guys were all aware of this one. 2 Meridian Street with the Santander Bank. This happened on the overnight shift. I guess the alarms came in. The officers were dispatched to the bank. When they get there, they walked inside. They were able to walk inside the bank, and they noticed the suspect behind the counter trying to open up a safe. So apparently this individual, I don't know how he got in, but just reading the report, apparently this individual was able to negotiate the lock of the front door of the office of the bank itself, to get inside by using a credit card. But he was subsequently arrested and charged with breaking and entry of a depository and destruction of property. And he was arrested and he was brought to Nassau Street for booking. That is all I have right now.
Thanks, Chris. So I just want to jump in on that. People trying doors and walking on your personal property. So the gentleman walked up to me and Curtis and showed us a video of a male walked up his driveway and walked out. So if your gut is telling you to show me the video and show the police the video, your gut should be telling you to call 911 when that happens. It could be something as simple as, maybe, I don't know what he could be doing on somebody else's property, but say he did walk away from the police response and dumped a weapon and walked right back out. Now we know that. Now we know to check there. Now we have video. Or he's trying your doors. Maybe there's fingerprints on the doors, and maybe there was another location that was broken into down the street. There's a lot of variables that go into calling. Please call. The answer is yes, call. Even if you call 911 and say, listen, it might be nothing, but I have video from my ring cam that a gentleman just walked down my driveway and seconds later drove back out. We will come and investigate every single time. So that's all I got on that. If the captain wants to add, please do. And if not, we'll take some questions.
No, Joe, I'm all set. It's been pretty unproductive. I think for most of the community groups we addressed at the end of the year, just the end of the year stats for our Part 1 crime for East Boston, we were down 18% this year. Last year, we were down 14%. And the year prior, we were down 3%. So we're on a good track. We had a very, very good year for Part 1 crimes. Citywide, we did as well. But East Boston in particular did really well being down in Part 1 crimes. Hopefully we continue on that trend. We'll continue to do what we do. And open to any questions that come about.
Could you define what a Part 1 crime is, please? Just for anybody.
Yeah, Part 1 crime. Sure. Part 1 crimes are like homicide, rape, larcenies, burglary. Basically the crimes that would designate like a hot response. An ag assault, meaning somebody gets hit with a weapon or somebody's struck with a weapon. Not like a regular A and B. If somebody were to get punched, it wouldn't qualify as a Part 1 crime. Part 1 crimes are the crimes that you would think of that you would see in, like, I don't know, movies, with robberies and stuff like that.
So a person would be in danger.
Yes, exactly.
And then also really quickly, just looking back in December, can you give us an idea of how much and if this wasn't like were porch pirates a big issue this year in East Boston? And if so, how much?
So I don't have the number on porch pirates. I'd talk to Sergeant Detective Ing. I can ask her what she had for numbers. But it's big every year, particularly around the holiday season. And one of the things we generally put out to the community groups is find a different location if you can to designate for FedEx and UPS. If you have an alternate location, you can have your package delivered at. If you can designate times or have it dropped at a neighbor's house who may be home. Porch pirates are tough. They're really tough because it's a crime of opportunity. Somebody walking by, they see a package, they see nobody around, they'll just snag it. I don't think this year was particularly any worse than any years prior. Nothing that hit a note with me, but yeah, they're pretty prevalent, especially during the holidays.
Okay. And then we did have, if you could talk a little bit about the meeting that occurred in December with the public. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend because, as I said, we had the JP&E event that night. But is there anything that came out of that meeting? Is there something that was a surprise to you? Any
No,
could be made?
it actually wasn't that well attended, and I sort of had a feeling it wasn't going to be. So it was right at the holiday season. So I sort of told the commissioner, I said, I don't know how well attended this is going to be. And it wasn't that well attended. It's basically the same thing that we give to every community group, every opportunity when we speak. It's basically the crime stats. It's, text to tip. It's different ways. We walk through like a case study. We had our detectives walk through a case study. And the case study that we used was, I don't know if you guys all remember, the individual who was robbed of, Joe, correct me on the price, but I think it was like $200,000 or something. Yeah, he was delivering money, loading up like ATMs and stuff. He was robbed. Our detectives walked them through the process from collecting video to collecting the cigarette butt that was on the ground that we saw him discard and collect it for DNA evidence, how we tracked their whereabouts, the pictures that we put out, the feedback that we got on that for identification purposes, to the court process, to the arrest, and through conviction. Both individuals eventually pled out and are currently serving time. So it was just things like that. It was just showing like how we go about evidence collection, how we prosecute a case, how we build a case. And then we go through our stats, which was this year we went through the Part 1 crimes and how we're down 18%. And then 14.3, like I said, the years prior. And then text to tip and different things that you can do to, protect yourself. Look out for different kind of scams that are going on. That was basically the gist of the meeting.
Okay. I've done a lot of talking. I don't
see anything in the chat. I
Yeah.
do have, I know, because we also got a question. I'm not sure, guys, if you are involved in this, but we did get a question. And I know there was a meeting last month in December, a community meeting about sort of the future of the old A7 building in Maverick Square. And I don't know if you guys were involved in that meeting or not. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend or anything. But I know there was a community meeting about kind of directions. I don't know if you guys have any information on sort of where you think it's going with development of that site or anything like that.
So interestingly enough that you say that. So recently we had a call over there because the heat wasn't working and it affects the court side. I contacted our facilities management and they said, actually, we no longer have control over that building. We've signed it back over to the city. And it sounds like the BRA has control of the building at this time.
That makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I figured I might be barking up the wrong tree with that, but yeah, no, thank you.
It was definitely news to me because no one informed me that we officially finally signed it back over. So I was still under the impression of, hey, we got to make sure nothing happens there. We got to make sure the snow is cleared and things like that. But apparently we've now lost control of it. It's gone over the BRA.
Okay. That is actually a good update for people to know. Like if they have an issue with it, that means that it would now go back to, instead of calling 911, you would call 311.
Exactly. Yeah, go to the city with it. Yes.
Aubrey, do you have your hand up? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I do. Yes. And I know that I'm about to have a conversation with BPS about this same exact thing, but I'm just very curious for the BPD side of this. I'm not sure how many folks in the community are aware, but the Alighieri School was put on lockdown in November. And I remember that the day of this happening and getting a text saying my children's school was on lockdown, I saw a Boston police officer in Charlestown and I asked if he knew, and he's like, "Oh, I'm on the same radios. I haven't heard anything. Don't worry about it," sort of thing. And what is clear that happened is that, one of the maybe downsides of us potentially being a sanctuary city is that there's no communication. I'm just curious how the community can best engage with BPD regarding interagency or different levels of government in terms of what is happening and what is impacting our children and our community with public safety in this current environment.
I'm not exactly sure I understand the question. So as far as
Really
schools going
broad.
lockdown,
Yeah.
the
I mean, it was essentially there was a chase through school property during school hours. Um, and children were outside and were quickly brought in and locked down and like basically put on the same protocol as would be in an active shooter situation. But as far as I was made aware, this never made it to BPD radios.
No, I was going to say this is the first I'm hearing of it. Joe Curtis, have you heard anything about this? So the school sometimes will do that on their own, and they don't notify us.
Yeah, Cap, this is the
And
first
which
time hearing of it also. sir.
about it.
I think that was kind of the gist. I apologize. I saw you went on mute, Aubrey.
Right. So to be told by
Yeah.
a police officer, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about it because I haven't heard about it," is not the same thing as nothing is happening. You know what I mean? So I'm just, I guess, as a citizen going through, not necessarily. Yeah, I guess my concern is like how much is or is not expected to be communicated, and how can we better communicate with our communities what would be shared in different jurisdictions or in different sorts of
Well,
things to make sense of public safety concerns like that.
yeah, well, one, we would have to be notified. If we don't know anything about it, how can we issue a statement when we don't know anything that happened? That's the tough part. So the school, me, I'm a parent. I have 4 kids. I'd do the same thing. If I heard that my kid's school was in lockdown, I would immediately I would call the school to find out what's going on. If it's not brought to our attention, then we don't know about it. Sort of like Joe was just talking about the guy walking up the driveway. If you don't bring it to our attention, we don't know about it. So if the school didn't notify us about a lockdown, I honestly couldn't give you an answer.
Is there a
Suppose,
reason why it might not I think Aubrey's trying to figure out at what point, so you're saying that the school would have to call, you're saying the school didn't call 911.
No, not that I know of. Unless, like I said, unless Curtis or Joe has any information on it.
No, sir, this is the first time hearing of it also. We were never notified of
Okay.
this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be meeting with the director of emergency response for BPD or not BPS tomorrow. So I'm happy to share. But I just feel like it's one of those things where if you're a concerned person and call a number that you think is a trusted source and they're not informed, maybe at the very least not being told, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about," but also how best to know where else to navigate for that information.
Yeah, the first place I would call would be the school. The school's going to have the information. They're the ones that institute the lockdown. So if they're instituting a lockdown, they should have the information about why they put the school in lockdown mode. That would be my starting point. If you do glean any information from that, I'd appreciate if you contacted Joe or Curtis and relayed the information, so that way we can find out what happened and where the miscommunication was, if there was something going on, why they didn't notify us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure that
I
was.
suppose to kind of I was going to bring this up at the end anyway, but Aubrey kind of brought it up. But just as a reminder to folks here, they've heard us say this before in these meetings, but just as a reminder that here in Boston, please always feel free to contact the police department without fear of them, and as far as we know, that policy has not changed since they reinforced it, 2 months ago when they were last here. But you can always call BPD and know that there's no coordination with federal immigration efforts and things of that sort. And I suppose perhaps one of the downsides to that is perhaps what Aubrey experienced, which is rough. So.
No, I completely agree. And people should feel free to come in and talk to us. Our policy has not changed. We maintain, status quo, and we follow the rule of law as it stays in Massachusetts and in Boston in particular. And you should feel free to come in and talk to us about anything. You shouldn't have any fear of retaliation, and you should be able to come in and report what you need to report.
Yeah. And it has been brought up at other meetings that you should not, if it's up to the police to decide what level of response something should have. If when in doubt, just call.
Yes.
Like that, absolutely. We've heard it every meeting is when in doubt, just call 911, cars blocking the road, call 911. Don't call the non-emergency number. You guys will decide what level of response to have. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. We're a 365 day a year, 24/7 operation. My units will always respond.
I personally, I felt a little weird, like calling 911 before for something that I didn't fear, perhaps was a part 1 or a level 1 crime or something like that. And it was sort of this rush to call 911 for something small, but realize no, that's okay. That's what I'm supposed to do. So never worry about calling 911 for something that you think might not rise to it. As they always tell us, just call.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Err on the side of caution. Make the call. We're there anyway. We're based right in East Boston. We're right up the street.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you this evening. Can we, officers, if there's someone still here who could you throw your contact information in the chat in case someone had a question that they were not comfortable asking in front of the group? Or if people have something that they'd like to report and talk to our police liaisons about. I'm going to move us along a little quickly because it is a little later than I expected. I just looked at the time and I did believe I saw, yes, the mayor's liaison, Carlos Garcia, is here. We'd like to turn it over to him for a moment to see if he has any announcements, any reminders, things that the community should be aware of. Go ahead, Carlos.
Hey everyone, this is Carlos Garcia from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Thank you again for having me. Thank you, A7, for the updates. I appreciate the support and everyone else for their questions so far. Hopefully, like some of the community meeting updates I can provide. I know, Aubrey, you mentioned or some of you had mentioned the A7 planning meeting. From what I understand, there is something coming up in the spring. I'll have to get some more details on how they're laying out like what the plans are for that space. So I'll do my best to share that with you all. So I hope everyone else has had a great start to the new year. First update that I have for you is the Mary Ellen Welch Greenway. So great news, the Greenway will be under construction starting in February, approximately through December 2026. So this seems to be on schedule. The city has awarded the contract. Some of the last few details are being confirmed. So just wanted to let everyone know that expect the closure to come sometime in February. This is a $3 million upgrade, so I hope everyone is excited and looking forward to these improvements. I know this has been long awaited. This Greenway closure will be between Marginal Street and Porter Street, including the Gove Street crossing. A pedestrian and bike detour will be routed along Orleans Street. BTD in the city are planning safety improvements to support increased pedestrian and bike use during construction. I'll remain in contact with Parks, and be in touch with the project manager for the project or for the construction. Hopefully signage will be up in the coming weeks. Um, but yeah, just wanted to let everybody know. Does anybody have any general questions about this Mary Ellen Welch Greenway construction? Feel free to drop a question in the chat, or you can email me directly. I will leave my contact information in the chat as well. Does anybody have any
Uh,
questions?
yeah, I just want to voice, which I can't imagine I'm the only person with this sort of thing. So I'm just going to use my platform as a
Yeah.
mouthpiece here. Um, it is super exciting, and it's great that we're getting the improvements and stuff like that. And it's awesome that the city's spending the money. And I know we've had the Greenway folks here before to tell us about the project a couple of months ago. It's just the February to December timeframe. I don't personally, but I know enough. I'm just that's a long time, and that's kind of a vital asset. I walk up and down that every day, sometimes twice a day, and I know many other community members do. And it's just it's awesome that it's getting fixed. It's just I would love to get and I would love to get some more information on exactly what takes 9 to 10 months to fix.
Yeah, and these are
So,
great
I'm putting you
questions.
on the spot here. I'm putting
Yeah,
you on
no,
the
great
spot here. I don't
questions. I
mean to do
mean,
that.
I would definitely like to
Yeah.
get a better sense of how construction is going to develop and what the
Mhm.
staging looks like, but I don't want to make any promises on
No, no.
like parts of the Greenway being open sooner than others.
Mhm.
Like the improvements are coming. There's nothing else that we can do. I don't
Yeah,
have any like there were some ideas there. Can we start on one side, complete that, and that would be less pain, but we just should prepare for the worst and the most
yeah.
inconvenience in the term of this project. But yeah, I hope that by the next meeting, I'll have more updates on how the timeline and
Thanks.
what specific details of construction
Yeah.
like are in play. I don't know if anybody else has any other,
Yeah, Dennis.
intel, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah, go
I know
ahead.
Dennis. I think works with the Greenway a little bit, so I'm gonna
Right.
go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, everyone. Right, Carl, just to follow on that, you can go to eastbostongreenway.org. It'll bring and select the Friends of the Mary Ellen Welsh Greenway. There's a QR code right on the homepage, and you can sign up for the city updates from Project Management Office. Amy Linné is the contact there. Is that right, Carlos?
Yeah, that is correct. And I'll make sure to share updates. I'm in close contact with Amy. She's working and other parts of the other team members are working on the signage. But until we get clear guidance on how the construction project will roll out, there's nothing else I can share. I'm hoping that at the next meeting I will have more details. And of course, I know you guys mentioned the timeline, but this was proposed to take longer than 12 months. So we're hoping that with this construction company that we was awarded this based on their previous experience and good work that they've done. We do have faith that they will complete this project in a timely manner, and especially like the rest of this year and with a goal to open back up in 2027. So,
Appreciate it, Carlos. Thank you. I
yeah.
just wanted it just to kind of the community wants this done as
Yeah.
fast as
Yeah,
possible. You know what I
absolutely. And
mean?
I know that the
If that's the
detour is going to
message that
be
can percolate up, you know what I
the
mean?
de the
So
detour is going to be a challenge, right? Like where no one's excited about having to take that intersection of Orleans crossing Sumner, but there are things that the city is planning to do to mitigate some of the safety concerns there. Would definitely like to see and any traffic calming that can be done, especially with the spring still being darker earlier. It is a huge concern, especially starting in the winter. Daylighting may be a good option for giving folks a safer path. But for now, that's all I really have. Hopefully, next meeting I'll have something else in regard to the project. But good news here. A few other updates I have for you all. I know some of you guys had mentioned or had dropped a few locations in an email about some of the dog waste containers. One of them was at Porzio Park. I'm not exactly sure where the other one was, but I did want to open it up to see if There's any other location that you guys can think of or anybody else in the community knows of that needs dog waste bags. Just want to
Yeah.
track it so I can try to get an update. I know that if it's on city property, great, happy to connect with Parks to see if we can get that. I haven't gotten a response yet, but wanted to see what anybody else may know so far.
The Golden Stairs Terrace Park.
Got it.
The individual who reached out to us asked about Porzio and the Golden Stairs in particular.
Okay, great. Good to know. I know that other neighborhoods, sometimes a community group does take care of those bags. From my experience walking my dog, I've never actually been lucky enough to use one of those. So it's good that you guys are flagging it. Hopefully we can get a refill. Just wanted to let you guys know that I'd be working on that. Please tell your neighbors the biggest complaint that a lot of us get is pick up after your dog. Still a frequent issue. I think that this is something that will always be the case, but hopefully if we can get uh this filled, it'll lighten the problem. Um, On to the next update. Just wanted to make sure you guys continue to use 311. Um, I do monitor the requests that are given to me. Sometimes they'll show up in my inbox, but if something's taking longer than 24 hours, please reach out to me directly so I can elevate it if it feels stuck. This is the best way to get something resolved. I've seen things end up on, social media, and by the time maybe a day or two later, the issue is resolved. But if it takes longer than 24, 48 hours, please continue to let me know. Um, One other thing is that I have noticed and have gotten word that code enforcement is fairly active in the neighborhood, especially with, complaints of unsecured trash and high wind areas. You're seeing trash scattered all over the neighborhood. So just wanted to remind everyone to please secure trash barrels. And that code enforcement is available and continuing to write tickets. So that's just a reminder for you all. Um, I did have an update and wanted to bring this up. I know, Dennis, you are on the call, but I wanted to bring up the development of the Emergency Resource Network. After some meetings with Noah and the community, Dennis and others have kind of provided more details and are trying to lay out the framework for a coordinated effort and communication network that activates when the city declares an emergency impacting the city, specifically on a more local level, such as, flooding, major utility outages, or transportation disruptions. The focus is on strengthening the communication and testing the emergency preparedness. So I wanted to invite JPNA or any folks from the community that would be interested in being a part of this network, to message me directly or have a conversation with Dennis. Also, Dennis, if you had anything to add in regards to this, I can give you a quick moment.
Okay, if I could, thanks. That I appreciate that.
Just one quick moment though, because
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want
Yeah,
to do
it is. This is
740.
building on the pandemic response from the service organization pulled together, and they said it worked great. We did some great stuff. Now we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when, but next time we can be a little better prepared. So we're putting a communication platform together and we're hoping to have a kind of a core of representatives of all those service organizations, the neighborhood organizations, political offices, and so on, who would be the primary on a periodic conference call during a major event. Not, so we don't know
Yeah,
if it's going
Dennis,
to happen. This is really what do we do if it does happen?
I guess what I would like to share is that Dennis and others are looking to do a test run, right? Am I correct on this? And
Right.
so this is where finding a few folks from each of the, civic groups or community members that are interested in kind of being a point person to determine whether or not this like local communication effort is worthwhile and how functional it is. This would be the opportunity for someone to be involved. I know I worked closely with the Office of Emergency Preparedness, and they have come up with recommendations. The city has their own emergency response systems, but this one that Dennis and others have kind of brainstormed is at a more local level, and we're looking at, new ways to get you know updates out to the community. I know that this issue that persisted at the school where there was something that happened and BPD wasn't aware of it, this can maybe even be used as a tool to elevate something as small, or not as small, but something like what was mentioned before, just as a thought.
Dennis, I can follow up with you, Dennis,
Sure.
from a board perspective. I'm kind of like I was a many moons ago was an Eagle Scout
Right.
and
Okay.
emergency preparedness, be prepared, that kind of thing.
Right.
I can follow up with you on that. I'll
Please,
follow
please.
up on your email. Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Okay, yep. And, officially JPNA or any community members who want to be involved can be. So thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks,
Just one
everyone.
more thing. I just wanted to give a heads up that my next two coffee hours will be on schedule Fridays at noon from 12 to 1 p.m. This Friday, on the 16th, I will be at Kaori Cafe at 303 Meridian Street. The following Friday, I will be at Cafe Dello Sport, but I just wanted to extend the opportunity to do a one-on-one with any community member after hours. Particularly Fridays are best, but happy to meet with you any other time of week as schedule permits. Just wanted to make myself available, flexible, and discuss any asks from the neighborhood for 2026. Just want to make sure that we have a running list of what you guys would like to see done in 2026 so I can work for you on getting it done.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Easty Farm.
Thank you so much. It's pronounced Morgan. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
hey, Morgan. Oh,
Hi everybody. It's nice
good.
to see you all virtually. I was wondering if I could share my screen, if that's all right with you all.
Okay. Do you have the presentation queued up? Would you rather
Yes.
just share it yourself? Okay. Yeah. I have it queued up too. If it's easier, if you want to just tell me to advance the slides, but
Oh,
no, you
can
got
you
it.
see this?
Yeah, you're good.
Fantastic. Okay. Wonderful. Hello everybody. My name is Morgan. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the food program manager at Easty Farm. I'm sure most of you probably know about Easty Farm already. So I'm curious for maybe a virtual raise of hands for those of you who have heard of us before.
Virtual hands.
Cool. Well, for those of you who might not know who we are, Easty Farm is an urban farm community-based organization in, you guessed it, Easty. We have 3 locations, but our biggest one with the geothermal greenhouse, mushroom farm, and hydroponic growing system is on Chelsea Terrace, right off of Chelsea Street. We'd love for you to come and visit. I'm here today to mostly talk about our farm share program. The food program in particular within Easty Farm is focused on creating more equitable and sustainable food system. And so we have a program called the CSA during the growing season, late May to mid-November, where folks can sign up to get weekly or biweekly shares of very delicious local vegetables and other goods. So here to share about that, and there's a few calls to action at the end. So overall, Easty Farm, who are we? We are a climate justice, food security, and community resilience organization, a nonprofit. We have 3 main programs: food, farming, and education. So as I mentioned, I manage our food program that's working on reducing food insecurity in the neighborhood and also just bringing more healthy food to East Boston because we only have 1 supermarket here. Our farming program is mostly focused on actual production. So as I mentioned, we have a hydroponic growing system, we have a new mushroom farm, and then we have 3 growing spots around Easty. And then our education program is mostly geared towards our Climate Core program, which is a youth earn to learn program. But we also bring kiddos to the greenhouse and work with lots of schools to do tailored lessons based off of their interests, what they're learning. So what is a CSA? It's not a super common thing, so it might be a new phrase for you. It stands for Community Supported Agriculture. The idea of it, it's basically a farm share. The idea is that you are subscribing in advance of the growing season. And usually a CSA is like just for one farm, so you'd pick a farm that's nearby, and then when you subscribe, you usually pay up front, and then you get the bounty or the harvest of the farm's goodies for the whole season. Our CSA is slightly different, so the next slide kind of talks about what makes ours unique, but overall, CSAs are very good for promoting the local economy, supporting local farmers, which farmland is sadly dying in Massachusetts, so we're really trying to support farms around the state. And of course, then you're also ensuring that you're going to be getting good, local, fresh, nutritious food throughout all of the growing season when things are available all around us. So what makes ours different? We are a very small farm. If you've ever come to visit, you might think, how could you possibly grow all this for everybody? We actually mostly source from other farms around the state of Massachusetts. We work with about 50 local farms and vendors, and that way it adds a little bit more resilience to our operations. But then we like it because we get to support a bunch of local farms who are doing really good work. We also don't just have upfront payments. We try to make it more accessible by allowing for monthly payments because we understand that for the most part, some farm shares can be inaccessible for folks if you have to pay hundreds of dollars upfront for 25 weeks, like 6 months of groceries. And then this is also how we do our free food and heavily discounted food aid work. So we have lots of free shares that are available to folks in East Boston who are experiencing food insecurity. And then we also have a heavily discounted share that is more than 50% off for folks who are eligible. And an extra exciting thing is that we also accept SNAP and also a program called HIP. I can explain that in more detail if anybody is interested, but high level, for those who don't know, if you have SNAP, there's a state-run program called the Healthy Incentives Program where you can get money, extra money to spend on local fruits and vegetables, and we're one of those vendors. And then we also have multiple pickup locations. We have many in East Boston. We're partnered with the East Boston YMCA as a pickup site as well. And then we also have pickups in Winthrop, Revere, Cambridge, and Charlestown. So if you have any friends who you think also might be interested, then they can participate too. Here's a schedule just to get a visual of like where you can pick up and when. The most exciting thing is that we are just this year partnering with Patagonia Cambridge. We're also a grantee of Patagonia Cambridge. They do lots of environmental work, and they were generous enough to also become a distribution site for us. So you can also find this on our website. And then I like to show our reach. So last season we had about 350 subscribers, and all of those funds are going to farms all around the state to keep their operations going. As you can see, there's some in Boston and very close by, but we also support a bunch in Central Mass and some in Western Mass too. And then, of course, because it's winter, I must show you what it looks like. So these are what some of the farm shares look like. This is the first half of the season. So it's all local goods. So you're getting what the land in Massachusetts can provide. So you can also learn about like seasonality of produce at the same time as you're enjoying the yummy fruits and veggies and things. We do eggs every other week, and you can opt out of that if you don't eat eggs. We do lots of fruits. You can see some strawberries and peaches. And then once you go later into the season, you'll see more of the fall crops, lots of winter squashes at the end of the season, and we do cranberries and other fun, more holiday-like things. And we work with lots of local vendors, so you might see Curio Spice in there from Cambridge. They do all of their processing in Massachusetts, and we work with a apple cider vendor and honey and lots of other yummy local goods.
So when does this start?
It starts in late May and it goes until mid-November. So it's like what we would call the traditional growing season in Massachusetts. It's kind of similar to when farmers markets start up. Some other fun things, you're not just getting a CSA, but we also have community events. EC Farm, you may know, already celebrates all the changes of the seasons. So we have winter solstice events and things like that. But for CSA members, we also had 3 events. And one of them, I taught a homemade kombucha workshop, which was super fun. We had a bunch of subscribers come learn how to make it. And then we made some fresh apple juice and strawberry rosemary juice to flavor kombucha. Some other perks, we have a Facebook group where people post pictures of what they make and include recipes and things. So there's a little bit more like communal sharing, or if you don't know how to cook something, you can ask a question and people will share what they like to do with it or how they store the produce. And then we also send out an email every time you're getting a share with what's in it, where it's from. We do like a nutrition highlight of something that's in the bag. And then we give out a bunch of recipes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, desserts on how to use the stuff that's in your bag. We also have a swap box. So if you don't like something, you can switch it out for something else to allow for more flexibility. And then you can also keep the reusable tote bag at the end of the season. For pricing, we have a 3-tiered pricing system. It's kind of like a sliding scale. Our market share is like the main one. It is normally at $49 per share, but up until for the first 47 subscribers, it's actually $47 per week. So if you're really interested and have made up your mind that you want to join us, now is a very good time before the price goes up as we get closer to the season. We also have a share called the Helping Hand Share, which is above and beyond that cost for those who want to support our mission and help us cover the cost of those free and discounted shares. And then the Leg Up Share does require an application. We just kind of have a screening to make sure that you are really in need of a share. And those are reserved for East Boston residents as well. And that is at $20 per share. And then again, we also accept SNAP and HIP. And it's a very, very good resource for folks who have SNAP because they can sometimes get a CSA for free. Love talking about it. So if anybody in your life does have SNAP and is interested, I can explain a little bit more the benefits of that. And then here's just some other ways to get involved. We have volunteer opportunities. We have a newsletter so you can know what's going on at the farm if you want to come to our next event. And then here's kind of like our main flyer. If you're interested in joining, we'd of course love for you to subscribe yourself, but as a neighborhood association, I'd also love to hear from folks. We love to table at events and do presentations like this for other organizations and folks who might want to support as well. We're looking for, like, for example, organizations who might want to sponsor shares either for like their staff or clients, or make like completely cover the cost of free or discounted shares. We're kind of in the main part of our marketing and sharing about the program for folks who might not know about it. And it's a very, very good resource for folks who are in need of food. And we're also just a very good resource and more communal way of enjoying seasonal produce if you're just interested in that. But I'd love to take questions, and I'm going to put our website and more information also as soon as I stop sharing. But our website you can also find here and search us on ecfarm.com/CSA.
They were nice enough to send us these slides ahead of time, so I think we'll put them on our website. I have the slide decks both in English and in Spanish.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. EC Farm's been a wonderful organization here in the community for many years. If you could stop the share, I'm going to turn it over to our next person, as we have 2 more things on the agenda tonight. Where is he? There he is. He's been very patient. Corey Jordan is joining us here this evening. He is from the Police Office of Accountability and Transparency, and we appreciate him reaching out and wanting to talk to our community. So, Corey, I will turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, everyone, for having me tonight. It's so good to see each of you tonight. East Boston residents, thank you for welcoming me, even though I live in Rosendale, which is a different part of the city of Boston, but EC's awesome as well. But yes, as Margaret said, my name is Corey Jordan, and I'm the community engagement specialist for the Office of Police Accountability and Transparency with the city of Boston. For those that don't know, our office basically pretty much was started about 6 years ago in the city of Boston during Mayor Marty Walsh's administration uh, during the time of the civil unrest that was going on with COVID and the protests in Minnesota with George Floyd. And pretty much Mayor Walsh and the city council at the time felt that there need to be oversight of the Boston Police Department from a civilian standpoint. And because of that, that's the reason why our office, the Office of Police Accountability and Transparency, was created. It basically is to provide oversight of the BPD from a civilian standpoint, meaning if a civilian or if anyone has basically pretty much felt that they were a victim of police misconduct, or if they have any other type of complaint um, against the Boston Police Department, they could come to our office, file an intake for our office, and then one of our investigators will basically pretty much investigate the civilian complaint. And if it turns out the complaint is credible, then what will happen is that our office will send out a letter to the Boston Police Department and Commissioner Cox, basically pretty much recommending disciplinary action against a BPD officer. Pretty much. So that's what our office does in a nutshell. We have three boards so far at the office. Three boards made up within our office. One is the OPAC Commission, which is made up of three members, which is our executive director of the office, Evandro Carajo, the chair of the Civilian Review Board, and the chair of IOP, which is the Internal Affairs Oversight Panel. That's one board that we have, and pretty much the job of the OPAC Commission is basically pretty much to make decisions with regards to the but basically pretty much to make policy decisions, like, with regards to how they feel like, should be taken, what they feel basically like, should be recommended to the BPD. That's basically pretty much the job of the OPAC Commission. We also have the Civilian Review Board, which is made up of 9 members. We call the Civilian Review Board the CRB. And the CRB basically pretty much reviews the complaints made against the BPD, and they also recommend disciplinary action. And also we have the Internal Affairs Oversight Panel, which is the IOP. That's what we call it, which is made up of 5 members from the legal profession. And basically, pretty much their job is to review internal affairs decisions from the BPD. And pretty much, they basically pretty much do that overall. The majority of our complaints overall, I will say, is pretty much come from neglect. They range from neglect of duty, excuse me, disrespectful treatment and abuse of power. 46% of our complaints are neglect of duty, 18% are disrespectful treatment, and 12% are abuse of power. That's us in a nutshell. We actually, and I'm going to put this in the chat, we actually just published the FY25 annual report, which basically lays out everything that office has done so far within the past year with regards to reviewing complaints and with regards to data and statistics. So I'm going to obviously put that in the chat. Also, what our office is basically pretty much trying to establish and trying to do as well is we also work with youth as well, kids, and we're actually trying to establish a youth advisory council. The Youth Advisory Council, we made up of a maximum of 12 members, 12 kids throughout the city of Boston between the ages of 14 and 19. The purpose of the Youth Advisory Council is just to have the kids come into the office and basically discuss their complaints against policing or their views, of policing, and if there are any changes that, they want to see done with BPD. And if there are any changes, then they could also write a letter to Commissioner Cox, letting the commissioner know this is what we'd like to see done. So basically, like, we're gonna try to establish that sometime this year. Hopefully, like, either late spring or early summer, we can basically pretty much get that established. So yes, and pretty much that's our office in a nutshell. And I'm pretty much done. Any questions for anyone?
If I wanted
What?
oh, sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
No. You go ahead, Margaret. Sorry.
I was just going to say, if someone was interested in seeing the report that you mentioned,
Yep.
where would we find that? Because I'm looking on your
I'm
website
actually
now
gonna.
to put it in your
Uh, yeah,
in
I'm
our.
actually gonna. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. As a matter of fact.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I said I was gonna do that at the end. I could do that right now.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, no worries. Let me do that right now. Actually, as a matter of fact. So here we
And
go. Yep,
Corey,
I just put it.
can you put your contact information in there as well? And then just sort of like wherever, like if a citizen, if somebody in Boston wanted to contact the Office of Police Accountability, uh, what's the best avenue to do that? You know what I mean? Is it contact you? Should they? Is there like a general? Where should we contact? Essentially.
No, what you can contact me, but I would say the best I'm actually gonna put all of our information in the chat right here. The best I'm gonna be attaching some documents that basically would have that information. We have an email address, is opat@boston.gov. You could also email, and we also do have a phone number. Our phone number is also in the attachments that I'm about to send to you. I have an OPAT pamphlet draft that I'm just attaching to you right now, and I also got a few flyers on the office, one in English and one in Spanish, for the Spanish speaking people in the Spanish speaking, excuse me, Spanish speaking members on the call. They could have that as well. So let me see here. I'm doing that right now as we speak. So basically, pretty much, like I said, our email address is opat@boston.gov. They could send an email. We also have a phone number that's also in the pamphlet. They're also more than welcome to come to our office. Our office is located in Roxbury at 2201 Washington Street in Nubian Square in Roxbury. So people can actually come in person if they want to come in person. They're more than welcome to come in person and basically pretty much file a complaint and speak to our investigators if they want to. So pretty much, yeah. Also, I should let you know, my job as a community engagement specialist is basically to get the office well known and out there throughout the city of Boston, because a lot of people really do not know you know our office. Like I said, we're relatively new. We've only been around going on 6 years now. We started during the George Floyd protests, basically, pretty much. So how the way I do that is basically coming in and introducing myself as I do tonight to the different community groups throughout the city of Boston. So basically, I let them know, that they could use this as a resource. We also have a social media. We have an IG and Facebook, by the way. Also, you're more than welcome. Anybody that's on social media, they're more than welcome to contact us on there as well. We have an IG, we have a Facebook, we have a LinkedIn. And then also at the same time, what our office does do is we have biweekly coffee hours throughout the city of Boston. So every 2 weeks, we go into a different neighborhood in the city. I'm relatively new with the office. I just started back in October of last year, about October 2025. And so far, the coffee hours that we have had so far that I've been to is South Boston. We was in South Boston. We actually was in East Boston too. Carlos actually attended that. As a matter of fact, we was at Cafe Dello Sport East Boston. That was the second coffee hour that I did, which was great. We had one in Rosendale, which is my neighborhood. We've had one in the Fenway area just a few weeks ago. We just had one in Dorchester last Friday, and coming up next Friday. They're always on a Friday, by the way. So all these coffee hours are on a Friday at 10 o'clock. But next Friday, we're actually going to be in the Mission Hill area. So we do that as well. So that's our way of getting ourselves known. Also, we have if you really want to see us in action, every Wednesday, well, not every Wednesday, excuse me, but usually every first Wednesday of the month, with the exception of this month. We're actually going to be having it this coming Wednesday, even though it's the second Wednesday of the month. We have what you call Open Door Day. So if anyone wants to come into our office, like, on a Wednesday and basically pretty much like, meet our staff. We have a presentation that we do, like, each open door day. That's a good, like, time for like, people to come on in and basically see what we do. So we have that once a month on a Wednesday. We're actually going to be having one this coming Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Between 3:30 to 5:30 at our offices located at 2201 Washington Street. So anyone basically was on this call, they're more than welcome to come into our office and basically like meet our staff, ask us questions. We're gonna have a presentation that we're gonna do for audience members, which is what we do every open door day. So yes, definitely feel free.
Thank you, Corey. Really appreciate it. I don't think, does anybody have any questions in the chat? Thank you, Margaret, for posting a lot of that stuff too. Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'm gonna leave.
Well, thank you very much, Corey. Oh,
Yeah.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
Please
I was gonna
share your contact. Please do share your contact information in the chat. It's very common that people are, they think of a question as soon as we finished, or they think of something later, or they want to follow up with a speaker. So we really do highly encourage that.
Yep, I'm gonna basically like do that right now is leave my email and my cell phone number as well. Also, I eventually what I would like to do is have my boss, the executive director of our office, Ivanja Carajo, come and present to you guys as well. He can actually give you guys like a more like in-depth presentation with regards to OPAT, like what we're doing. I know he's very, very, even though I shared it with you guys, I know that he's very, very anxious to really speak about the FY25 annual report that we had just published. I know he's really anxious to get that out there, like let the city of Boston know about it. So sometime maybe later on this year, like I can have him like come on in and basically introduce like himself and basically speak more about our office and let the members know what we do. So we can do that also as well.
We'd like that a great deal, actually. Please have him get in contact with us. We certainly welcome him coming and talking to the community.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm about to leave my contact information right now. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Yes. Thank you very much, Corey. So the next part of the meeting is going to be a little different than we normally have. The JPNA every year does a report, and then when we present this report, we tend to talk about what are some of our goals for the coming year. And the JPNA kind of had a little bit of a moment of, hey, wait a second, maybe we're doing this backwards, because normally we present this and then we say to the community like, oh, here are our goals for the year. What do you think? And so the thought was, why don't we open it up and have a bit of a discussion here? And I can't guarantee you that we'll adopt them, but before we sit down at a board meeting and think about some of our goals for the year and then come back and present our annual report for 2025 next month, along with the goals that we'd like to adopt, we'd like to just kind of open it up for a discussion. Put your hand up and Tyler will call on you, or I'll call on you. Or if you don't wish to talk, you can put something into the group chat of either ideas or suggestions or things that you would like to see the group accomplish or maybe work towards in the next 12 months.
Likewise, you could also email us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think of something later, if we're putting you on the spot, you can always email us.
Yes, board@jeffreyspoint. Oh, yep, Tyler's got it right in there. Board@jeffreyspoint.org is our email address. Our website is www.jeffreyspoint.org. In the past, sometimes people in the past, sometimes the board have taken on, I believe there's a beautification project we did a number of years ago, where we applied for some grant funding and was able to apply that money to several locations around Jeffries Point. Let's see, there have been other projects. Let's see, there's beautification. There's actually, the website was one of our projects that we did one year because we did not have a website. We mostly disseminated information through Facebook. And the feedback we got from people was that it just wasn't enough. There was nowhere for us to store information like meeting minutes, or for people to go back and learn more of what we'd done before. So people said, hey, you really need to do more in terms of communication. So we created the website. I'm kind of filling time until I see a hand go up or something go in the chat. So if you have
I can
something,
break the ice.
oh, go ahead, Aubrey, go right in.
I would love to see more bilingual or multilingual engagement and make sure that all of our neighbors are here, regardless of ability to communicate or comfort in communicating in English. So I would like to commit personally to, when we welcome people as a board, to welcome people bilingually to each meeting moving forward, but would also welcome any suggestions or comments related to that.
Looks like Roberto actually it's a great idea. Email a few thoughts that evolve on having more frequent gatherings, since it's wonderful to meet others in the neighborhood. Yeah, that's one thing. Obviously, Margaret, you mentioned earlier how great it was at the potluck last month. Unfortunately, I was able to go, and I brought some cookies. I helped set up a little bit, but you should all be thankful that I didn't stay, because I came down with that stomach norovirus the very following day. So I think I would have gotten everybody sick. But in the
Wife
summertime,
made the
what we do
cookie. His wife made
yeah.
the cookie. He did not. Wife
and,
made
and
it.
hopefully I didn't hear that anybody got sick, so that's a good
Not
thing.
that I heard.
Yeah, not that we heard of. But I know that the summer event we did, and that we do. I'm sorry. The Golden Terrace Park, like that. It's a fun event. Just getting everybody together, to meet each other, to sort of share in community fellowship for an hour or two. That's a lot of fun, and maybe that is something that we ought to think about doing with a little bit more frequency. Especially if there's sort of a clamoring for that.
Okay.
I do know that what was it last meeting we had in November? We get an update from Massport on that new, and I don't anticipate it for the next several months until later this year, but that new community space, the community room that's going to be in the corner of Portside. That's something that we can leverage
Yeah.
for meetings and stuff, and potentially, and this is something we can also talk about, returning these meetings to either an in-person or a hybrid. I think we would probably keep it hybrid for those who still want to remain virtual. But since COVID, this has all been virtual. Prior to that, it was in person. And maybe we go back to some sort of hybrid model, especially if we get access to a room with audiovisual equipment and things of that
Yeah,
nature.
I do think it's going to be months before we see access to that room, which I would
It will be.
love. But yes, but depending upon, if they have the technological ability for us to do hybrid, I'd love it. We've heard many times that people would prefer hybrid. It's just, we'd have to do it now, we would have to find a location. We'd have to buy a lot of equipment. And honestly, it would probably be like 3 people running every single meeting just behind the scenes, between like setting up and like switching cameras and stuff like that. It's really easy to do. Let me put it this way. It's really easy to do a hybrid meeting in a shitty way, which nobody's happy about. It's really hard to do it in a good way that everyone is thrilled that they came to that meeting and feel that they benefited from. So, okay. So as we see, I'm going to call attention to the chat because Corey was very nice to update, put in all 4, put in several flyers, both in English and in Spanish, and then added the annual report, which is excellent. which I will make sure that I will try to figure out a way to get that into the notes document, so that people have a way to access them as well. Just a reminder that this is the yes, all welcome and yes, all questions and suggestions are all welcome. If we don't get it, if you don't wish to share something here, if you think of something later, as Tyler mentioned, please email us at board@jeffreyspoint.org. Another quick reminder that our planning and zoning meeting will occur this month on the 21st on Zoom. If you go to our website, you'll be able to register for that, and the agenda will be posted no later than Wednesday. With that, I would just say if the person who is the person who is on the phone, last four digits 3537, if you could just identify yourself before we go, as everybody's leaving, that way we can make sure that you are eligible to vote if a project comes up to vote in the next couple of months. We would appreciate that. And otherwise, I will tell everyone to please stay warm and root for the Pats. And
Go Pats.
Yeah, go Pats. And I will call this meeting.
That's an official position of the board, by the way.
It is.
That is that's an official board
Understood.
position. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for hosting again, Tyler. Aubrey's still here. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.